Attention, the following broadcast has been approved by Outcasted OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, happy Saturday everybody, it is Just G here. Oh my god, this is my first review using my new username. So yeah, I changed my username on my social media accounts. I am no longer Unicorn Goth, I am now Just G92. But yeah, this is Just G here and I am here with this week's Friday Night Smackdown review. So let's get into it. So this week's Smackdown starts with Jay in ring and he is about to cut a promo. He does a little bit of crowd talk, which was like a few words, and then we are rudely interrupted by Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman making their way down to the ring. As we know, we are having a match at SummerSlam, a tribal combat match between Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. I'm really excited for this match, if you cannot tell. So the crowd are very Jay to start with. They're chanting Uso, Uso, Uso. I would also like to point out the fact that this is the first time since Roman has had his new bout presented to him that I've seen him with just that bout. He usually comes out with Heyman holding the 2 bouts and Roman with the 1 bout. But this time he has only come out with the new WWE Undisputed Heavyweight Championship bout. So Roman starts off his promo by making the point of, he is the tribal chief. If he's coming to show up to a SmackDown, he's going to be the one to open that show, not Jay. And then he starts talking about how Jay is only main event Jay and the right-hand man because Roman put him in that position. Otherwise, he would be a nobody. And he's like, Jay, you think you're on top. You want to be the tribal chief. You want to be the head of the table. But it's me. I'm the one. Jay's like, no, Roman, actually, I'm just looking out for my family's back, you know, but you broke it. You broke our family by hurting Jimmy, by hurting me, you know, and he goes on to talk about, like, how he wants to make the family right again, but Roman keeps breaking it. So Roman then comes back with how Jay is selfish, how Jay is a selfish champion because the moment Jimmy's hurt and out of the picture, he sets a match for the bout, not to fix the family, but for the championship. And then he really starts to wind Jay up and he's like, if you wasn't there, then Jimmy would be the right-hand man. If Jimmy wasn't injured and you wasn't the only one there, it would have been Jimmy. And then he's like, when I beat you at SummerSlam, Jay, you will be done for good. And then Jay's like, nah, Roman, I did what nobody else has done and I pinned you. You know, I was your right-hand man for 3 years, but I still beat you. I pinned you. And he was like, I'm going to do it again at SummerSlam. And yeah, that's how that ended. So next we move on to our US Championship Qualifier match, which is Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar. And the winner gets a chance to face Austin Theory for the United States Championship bout. So Rey and Santos both make their entrances and they both shake hands in the ring as a sign of respect for the LWO and the fact that this is a fair fight between them. No hard feelings, whoever wins, you know, that kind of thing, which is really cool. I really like to see that between them. So it starts straight with a few punches, a few little things, nothing mad, and then Santos goes straight in for a roll-up, like within seconds on Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio kicks out. We then zoom into a little clip of Austin Theory sat in a box up at the top of the stadium watching this match from afar. He's just chewing on his popcorn, you know, as you do, just chilling, eating popcorn. So then there is a few slaps, a few kicks between the two of them back and forth. Rey then throws Santos to the ropes and to set up for a 619, but Santos manages to roll before Rey even hits the back ropes to attempt to do the 619. Rey goes in a little bit more and they go back and forth a little bit more. Rey goes in for a pin on Santos, but Santos kicks out. Santos then goes for a crossbody on Rey Mysterio to pin, but Rey also kicks out within a 2 count. So we hit a point in this match where Santos has rolled out of the ring and Rey is going to do a dive through the ropes onto Santos, but Santos rolls out of the way and Rey actually hits his face on the floor. He looks like he's in a lot of pain. Santos jumps up into the ring and then goes to do a suicide dive onto Rey out in the ring. It cuts the screen cuts for a commercial or something and it comes back and Rey is late in the ring. The ref goes over to the announce table and says that Rey is unable to wrestle anymore due to whiplash, so they announce that Santos Escobar is the winner of the match. So they do both get up and hug it out, you know, the respect for the LWO and the fact that they are both in the same faction, and I love that. I think it's going to be great for Santos Escobar to have that US challenge with Austin Theory, because he's doing great things and I see him going really far. Okay, next we go on to a backstage segment with Kayla. She is interviewing Bianca about her match at SummerSlam. So the match at SummerSlam is a triple threat match for the Women's WWE Championship between Asuka, Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. And she's asking Bianca about how she feels coming into that match at SummerSlam, and Bianca's like, well, 3 is like an unfair number and whatnot. And then Sonya and Chelsea appear and they're like, we don't care about your 3. The only important number is 11. The number of days we have been champions, tag champions, the number of days nobody's thrown us a celebration about being tag champions. They're like, oh, if it isn't Charlotte Flair in the picture, if it isn't Bianca Belair in the picture, why aren't the tags getting like the attention that they deserve? You know, if them superstars aren't on top, why can't we be on top as well? Bianca then goes on to suggest a triple threat between Sonya, Chelsea and herself, to which Charlotte Flair then appears and she's like, nah, why don't me and you team up, Bianca, and show these what we're actually worth? And Bianca's like, team up with you, Charlotte? No, not a chance. And Charlotte's like, oh, that means I want it even more. And she's like, I'm going to go and find Adam Pearce and make this official. And I'm just like, oh, the tension boiling between them two for the SummerSlam match is great. So then we are greeted by Hit Row in ring waiting for us. They're actually talking a bit of gibberish. I didn't actually catch anything that they said because I couldn't understand what they were saying, I'm not going to lie. Then LA Knight comes out. Yeah! He is having a match with Ashanti from Hit Row. But LA Knight comes out and he cuts a promo on Hit Row first. I'm not going to talk too much about it because it wasn't very PG. So I can't really repeat what he was saying, but it was a very, very good promo and I do suggest you go and check out that promo before the match with Ashanti. So this was quite a quick match. The match started as soon as the bell rang. Ashanti went straight in for a cheap shot on LA Knight as he had his back turned to the crowd. As LA Knight falls to the side, Top Dollar then goes in to hit him as well while the ref is talking to Ashanti and has his back turned. LA Knight really didn't like this, so he literally took Ashanti, threw him to the side. He hit Top Dollar off the ropes, and then he did a power slam, a big elbow, and then a BFT in a row to pin and win the match against Ashanti. Of course, he is the ever-growing megastar, and will everybody say it with me? LA Knight, yeah! So the next match we had tonight was the tag match between Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair and Sonya Deville and Chase Green. I would just like to point out that the belts are actually not on the line in this match. It is just a tag match. So Charlotte Flair made her entrance, but just after Charlotte's Flair entrance, it's cut to a backstage segment of Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, where he's talking about how he met with like Trick and that last week and then the Street Profits the week before, and he was talking and he was like, you know, stars need to dress in style, stars need to dress to impress. And obviously they were talking about Angelo Dawkins because he was sat there in these like trackies and a hoodie and stuff, and Lashley's like, yeah, you need to dress like stars, and he pulls out a big long rack of like suits and he's like, a gift from me to you. I cannot tell you how excited I am to see where this is going with like Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, if we're forming like some kind of new version of the Hurt Business, like a modern Hurt Business or something. I don't know, I'm just really, really excited to see where it goes. Okay, so we move back to our women's tag match. Again, I would like to say it is not for the tag champions belts, it is just a tag match. So it starts with Bianca Belair and Chelsea Green in ring. Bianca barely gets to do anything before Charlotte tags herself in on Bianca's shoulder, and Bianca's like, what are you doing? It's me first, you know, I'm starting this match, and she is really annoyed, and obviously she has to get out the ring as Charlotte comes in. So Charlotte and Chelsea are back and forth a little bit, slamming each other around. Charlotte then does a bigger slam, slams her to the ground, and they kick each other a few times till Bianca then manages to reach over and tag herself in on Charlotte, so they have to swap again. Bianca slams Chelsea to the ground. Chelsea gets up and goes over and tags Sonya in. As soon as Sonya hits the ring, she runs for Bianca, who grabs her, flips her upside down and slams her to the ground. Bianca goes for a pin on Sonya, and Sonya kicks out at 2. Bianca and then Sonya are up on the ring, on the ropes, doing a few punches and slaps and stuff. Bianca then flips over Sonya and does some flips and kicks to show off how really athletic she is. I don't even know if that's a word, it just came out of my mouth. So yeah, she was really showing off her athleticism towards the other girls. Chelsea is up on the side distracting Bianca. Bianca kicks Chelsea out of the ring. As Bianca turns around, Sonia kicks her and goes in for a pin, but Bianca manages to kick out at 2. Sonia tags Chelsea Green in and they're both like punching at Bianca. They go for a double suplex on Bianca. Bianca manages to turn it around and do a suplex on them. So Bianca then actually runs across the ring and tags Charlotte in. So we now have Charlotte Flair and Chelsea Green as our current tagged in people. They are back and forth chopping each other, chops to the chest, and they're like, oh, oh, oh. Chelsea falls to the ground and Charlotte goes for a pin, but Chelsea kicks out at 2. Sonia is then tagged back in at this point. Charlotte goes for a roll on Sonia and Sonia kicks out at 2. Charlotte then goes for a figure 8 on Sonia, but Sonia manages to kick her out of the way before she can even lock in that figure of 8. The EST is then tagged in. Bianca Belair is back tagged in. She's doing some quick shoulder tackles to Sonia and then manages to hit a vertical suplex on Sonia. Then they move to the ropes and they're just doing some punches at the top of the ropes. Sonia slips herself underneath Bianca and pulls her down by her hair. As they pull her over to their corner, Chelsea then tags in and they go to do the move Unpretty Her, but Charlotte pulls Sonia out of the ring and they don't connect to do that move. Bianca sets up for a KOD then to win the match, but Charlotte actually tags in as she's about to do the KOD, well, as she's moving to the corner of the centre of the ring to do the KOD, and pushes like Chelsea off of Bianca's shoulders, and she comes into the ring and she's like, you need to get out, I'm tagged in. And Bianca is so furious, like she is so angry. She's like, I had this match, this was my win, you know. And then she's like, Charlotte like kicks Chelsea to the ground and she pins to win the match, and Bianca's just stood there going, why did you do that? This was my match, I had the win. And she's like walks off and Charlotte stood there going, come back, we won, we both won, you know, we both won. But the tension between the two building for that SummerSlam match it's going to be a good match, I feel. Moving on, we come to a backstage segment of Bayley and Io Sky. So Bayley's like just messing around in the locker room and Io's like, why did you leave me last week? Why did you leave me to like fend for myself, you know? And Bayley comes up with an excuse of like, oh, she was getting the valet ready and stuff so that they could just leave straight away because you know how long these things can take. And she was like, after the creepy video from Shotzi and stuff, you know, you're lucky she didn't get to your stuff, but she got to my stuff. So Bayley goes to open her bag and pulls out this note from Shotzi. It's all like letters cut out and put together to spell something, and it's got like bits of Shotzi's hair on it. And it says, Bayley, see you soon. And they both get really creeped out and they're like, we need to go, we need to go. But as they are going to leave the locker room, Asuka comes in and she's talking, starts talking to them. She's, her and Io both talk in their own languages, back and forth at each other a little bit. And then Asuka's like, I'm facing the best, like Charlotte and Bianca at SummerSlam. And she was talking about her match at SummerSlam. And then she was like, don't even think about cashing that in, Io. And Io was like, no matter what happens in your match, I'm walking out of SummerSlam as the WWE champion. So another backstage segment that happened next was Adam Pearce was on the phone talking about a Slim Jim sponsored battle royale at SummerSlam, to which LA Knight then makes an entrance and is talking about how he should have won the United States Championships, and now because to make that battle royale like big, he should put like the fastest growing star into that match. And then Sheamus makes an appearing with Butch and Ridge next to him, saying that it's unfair that he should be in that battle royale. And Adam Pearce is like, why don't I make it fair? You can both go in that battle royale and you can both show us what you're made of next week on SmackDown. So we are having a Slim Jim sponsored battle royale at SummerSlam, and our first two people being entered into that battle royale is LA Knight and Sheamus, and they are also having a match on SummerSlam on SmackDown next week. So then moves on to Kathy is doing a little interview with Grayson while he's like punching, getting ready for his match with Jey Uso later this evening. And he asked how he felt about Jey Uso. And he was like, to receive a cheap shot just for asking him to come on my show was really unfair. He will pay for this. He will pay for what he's done. And I know I will win because he's too focused on Roman and the match at SummerSlam. And that was about that. So our next match is a match of Karrion and Scarlett ringside versus Carl Anderson from the OC. Karrion and Scarlett make their entrance. We have a little bit of a behind the curtains talk with the OC where Carl is like, this is personal, I need to do this on my own, you guys need to stay here and let me face Karrion on my own. And they're all like, yeah, we got you, guy, go and do what you need to do. So as the bell rings, Carl Anderson is straight in on the punches on Cross. It's like Cross, punch, punch, uppercut, 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 and Cross can't get in, Cross can't move, like he's chops, uppercuts, and then he manages to like make Cross fall down a little bit. And he goes in for a neck breaker on Karrion Kross to pin, and Kross manages to kick out at 2, to which then they both fall into the corner of the ring and they're like punching at each other in the corner. The ref does come in and like break it up, and as he or she breaks it up, I can't remember which ref it was, Carl Anderson like falls to the side where Scarlett is, and Scarlett grabs his leg and like is messing with him, to which then gives Kross a second to be like, yo, I need to do something. He then goes in and punches Carl Anderson and gets Carl down to the ground and does his move, what he's calling Final Prey, to which he pins Carl Anderson and wins. This was very, very much a squash match, and for two big men as built as much as they are, I expect a lot more from them. But I understand timing and stuff, so maybe it wasn't a good idea to have such a squash match on the show. I know it makes Kross look strong, but it makes Anderson look really weak, and all of the OC are very strong, so I don't actually agree with this. Anyway, Karrion Kross was not finished with Carl Anderson. He grabs him in a headlock and he points him at the camera and he's like, look AJ, look what you did. And he's like proper like grabbing him and he's like, look at him AJ. To which the whole of the OC obviously come out to Carl Anderson's rescue, and Kross instantly retreats and runs off. So next we move on to our main event for the evening, which is Jey Uso versus Grayson Waller. As Jey is making his entrance down to the ring, Roman, Solo and Paul Heyman are watching his entrance from a TV backstage somewhere. So Grayson and Jey make their entrances. Their match is very, very slow to start. It's very technical. It's very punch, kick, punch, kick. There's not a lot going on in terms of bigger moves up on the ropes. They're just back and forth punching, and it was a very, very slow start, to which we get a few minutes into the match and Roman actually makes an appearance with Solo and Paul Heyman. They put a chair at the end of the ramp and he kind of sits there and is watching the match. Obviously this is to distract Jey and make him lose. But yeah, that's how that went. So there was a bit of back and forth again then from the two, with a few stare downs between Roman and Jey. But Waller then does end up running into a super kick from Jey and is knocked down to the ground. At this point, Jey is in the corner, like fully staring down Roman. As Grayson stands up, he hits a spear on Grayson Waller, and is just staring at Roman while he does it, using Roman's moves. He goes up onto the top ropes and is shouting some stuff at Roman, and he does an Uso splash and he pins to win the match against Grayson Waller. As Jey is in the ring celebrating his win, he is actually ambushed from behind by Solo Sikoa, as he's like, well, he was kind of celebrating his win and staring at Roman, like watching him. I don't know how he didn't notice that Solo had disappeared, but Solo comes from behind and he hits Jey to the ground. He goes in for a Samoan spike on him, but Jey manages to dodge it and super kicks Solo. As he super kicks Solo, Roman rips the belt off his waist, throws it to the ground and jumps in that ring. Jey actually, as Roman is getting up, delivers a spear straight to Roman, which I thought was really cool as well. He goes up onto the top rope, I'm assuming to do a Uso splash on Roman, but Solo pushes him off from outside the ring. Solo gets into the ring, grabs Jey and goes to do the Samoan spike, but as he does the Samoan spike, Roman also does a spear. So it's like a spike and a spear at the same time. So I am naming this move the spear spike. I will trademark that before WWE does. So they hit him with a spear spike, and Jay falls to the ground. He grabs his red necklace tribal chief thing and his belt, and he's screaming at Jay on the floor. Is this what you want? Is this belt and this necklace what you want? Do you want to be tribal chief? You want to be head of the table? And Jay's just out of it. He can't get up. They lift him up and they hit him with a spear spike again. To the floor he goes. Roman gets up on the ropes, is holding his belt up, and Solo's just there like, yeah, whatever. And that is how SmackDown ended this week. So yeah, that is what happened in the second to last SmackDown before SummerSlam. We have one Raw and one SmackDown before SummerSlam. I can't believe SummerSlam is next weekend. I am so excited for this. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me, everyone, and talking about the bits of things that went on in SmackDown, or just generally talking about the matches so that people know what's going on if you don't get a chance to watch it or you don't have access to watch it. This is what these reviews are for. We talk about the show so you know what's going on if you can't watch it. So there will be a Raw review on Tuesday, NXT review on Wednesday, podcast on Thursday. We have SummerSlam predictions. We have a special guest, Lana, joining us, so please tune in for that. And then there will be the final SmackDown review before SummerSlam on Saturday. And then, of course, we have SummerSlam Saturday evening. Yeah, I'm assuming a bunch of us from the Outcast OC will be live, but keep updated on follow us on our social media accounts and stuff to find out what's going on over the SummerSlam weekend. But yeah, thank you for hanging out, and I'll catch you soon. Bye!